Welcome, Norwex family, where we're creating safe havens through real relationships. One of the highlights of every Norwex conference is when Norwex leaders share their stories. Every story is unique, but connects with each of us in a very personal way. Senior Executive Sales Leader Joanna Brown opened her heart to us about her family, including a heartbreaking cancer diagnosis for both of her parents. Her mother's was likely caused by long-term chemical exposure from her career as a hairdresser. Her father's diagnosis of brain tumor followed. It's a story only Joanna can tell, yet I know that every one of us can relate to her journey.
There I was, not even 30 years old, and both of my parents, the grandparents of my kids, had cancer in their 50s. I found myself lying in bed at night worrying and stressing about things that I had absolutely no control over. And over time, I came to the realization that yes, there are lots of scary things out there, but we can only control what we can control. And thankfully, we have total control over what we bring into our homes as consumers. Being a Norwex consultant was no longer a hobby with a fabulous discount on products that I loved. This was personal, my story was real, and suddenly I felt the urge to share it with everyone. As soon as I started sharing Norwex from the heart and really letting people in, my business began to blossom in ways that I never would have imagined. My parties flourished, and I began to build a team, as I've heard many others say, accidentally at first. Over the next 3 months, I promoted to team coordinator and sales leader, all while teaching full-time and being a busy wife and mother of 2 very active little boys. Then last year, after a little persuasion, I made the decision to make the 20-ish hour drive, pregnant, to attend national conference. And I'm sure that you would all agree with me in saying that it was well worth the trip. As a sales leader at the time, I was soaking everything in like a sponge. Every single testimony that I heard, every workshop that I attended was nothing short of awe-inspiring. At one point, I leaned over to my friend and fellow consultant and I said, next year, I'm gonna walk across that stage for something. And by Sunday morning's closing session, I knew one thing for sure. This was what I wanted to do with my life. I was ready to take my business to the next level. And lucky for me, I have a very supportive husband. It was late August and time to start preparing for the start of another school year. 2 days after returning from conference, I had opened up my school email for the first time since June, and I cried. I did. My husband came into the office to see what was wrong, and I was a blubbering, pregnant, hormonal mess. He said, Jameson's starting kindergarten. I feel like I'm never, ever going to see him again. Who's going to get him on and off the bus? I have to work. Gunner's starting preschool, and I feel like I'm never going to see him again. And we're having a baby, and my dad is sick, and I don't want to deal with any of this right now. And that's when my husband, without any hesitation, looked at me and said, then don't go back. And I whipped my head around, and I said, excuse me, sir, is that an option? We had a lengthy conversation that night, and together we set goals for my Norwex business. And the very next morning, I was on the phone with my principal, telling her that I would not be returning to school in the fall. I quickly fell in love with the role of a work-from-home mom. I was able to be present for my kids, take care of myself while pregnant, go for walks, clean my house, make dinner, and be a successful businesswoman. Norwex gave that gift to me. By October, I promoted to executive sales leader just in time for the birth of my daughter in November. So I took some much-needed time off to be a mom, a new mom again, and to spend as much time with my dad as I could. I could just tell that this would be our last holiday season together. Despite my brief absence, my team flourished, sharing the gift of Norwex with as many people as possible. Just a few short months ago, on the 1st of April, my precious daddy left us. We each got to spend a few minutes alone with him to say what needed to be said. And until you find yourself in that position, there's no way of knowing what you would say, because no words could ever be able to convey how you really feel. So I found myself sharing my hopes and my dreams. He couldn't speak at all, but I could feel his pride. I loved that man with every ounce of my being, and I was his little girl. He was 55. I can't see my paper anymore, sorry. The pain and loss is immeasurable, but the outpouring of love and support that I received from my Norwex family was truly touching. They rallied around me, and that dream that I had shared with my dad in that very private moment became a reality. Together, as a team, we promoted to Red Jacket that month. That awful, dreadful month where I desperately needed something positive in my life, because that is what Norwex is all about. We are all in this together. We support each other. And the spirit of camaraderie amongst consultants in this company is nothing short of beautiful. I'm so very proud to call this my job. It's my job. And all of you, my colleagues, what an honor it is to get to be a part of a company that truly strives to make people's lives better. I think back to the excitement that I was feeling sitting in the audience, this audience, just 1 year ago. The admiration I had for the successful women on stage and the dreams that I had for myself, which seemed to be so out of reach at the time. So much has happened this year: joy, pain, heartache, triumph. And as I close, I encourage you to start sharing your story, whatever it may be, from your heart. Be authentic with your customers and your teammates. Let them know the real you, the purpose for you being here, and the reason why you're passionate about Norwex. And I'd be willing to bet you'll watch your business grow.
I hope that Joanna's words inspire you and bring you closer to sharing Norwex straight from your heart as she does. You are a real person who can make a real impact with Norwex.